Are you ready to step into worlds where hope is a distant memory and every victory comes at a brutal cost? Dark fantasy isn't just a genre, it's an experience, a descent into places where beauty and horror collide. From cursed lands to fallen gods, the games on this list will challenge your courage, your mortality, and your sanity. Let's dive into the shadowy depths of the 20 best dark fantasy games that'll haunt your dreams long after you've turned off the screen. Ever wonder what happens when King Arthur's legend takes a dark turn? This tactical RPG flips the mythos on its head. Here, Camelot isn't a beacon of hope. It's a shattered dream crawling with undead knights and cursed magic. You'll command squads in intense turn-based battles, trying to rebuild Arthur's broken legacy. The twist? You're Sir Mordred, the villain of the tale, given a second chance by fate. Why play? Because nothing screams dark fantasy like a kingdom rotting under the weight of betrayal and eldritch horrors. Also, who doesn't want to boss around a team of morally gray knights? Each decision you make shapes not only the fate of the kingdom, but also your own standing among the knights, given every choice weight. If Blasphemous was a painting, it'd be in the goriest corner of a Renaissance church. A twisted take on penance and faith. This pixel art Metroidvania traps you in the decaying world of Custodia, where religious zealotry and monstrous punishments run rampant. As the penitent one, you wield a sword of guilt. Yes, guilt. And carve your way through abominations in your quest for redemption. Dark fantasy aspect? The sheer weight of despair woven into every frame. From the grotesque enemies to the haunting lore, Blasphemous feels like stepping into a fever dream crafted by Hieronymus Bosch. It's a relentless exploration of faith gone awry, where beauty and horror clash in every corner. Let's talk about what happens when you give players ultimate freedom in a world teetering on the brink of annihilation. Divinity Original Sin 2 lets you create your own character, or play as one of its pre-written misfits, like an undead scholar or a lizard prince. The game thrives on choice. Every conversation, every quest, every battle can be approached in countless ways. But the dark fantasy comes alive in the story. The gods are dying. The void is consuming reality. And your party? They're just as likely to stab each other as they are to save the world. Add in a world of forbidden magic, betrayal, and moral dilemmas, and you've got a recipe for chaos. The tactical combat is brutal, requiring sharp wit and clever strategies to survive.
I strongly suspect you know all about it.
You seem on edge, officer. Do you?
An indie gem that feels like wandering through the pages of a cursed Nordic folktale, Northern Journey combines a surreal, first-person adventure with unsettling environments and strange, insect-like monsters. The world feels alive in the most unnerving ways. Rivers hum ominously. The forests creak like they're watching you, and the air, it's heavy with an unspoken dread. What makes it stand out? It's not about saving kingdoms or defeating gods. It's about surviving a brutal, beautiful wilderness that doesn't care whether you live or die. Plus, those soundtrack vibes, chill-inducing. Each area tells its own silent story, one that unfolds the deeper you venture into its eerie landscapes. Most RPGs give you a shot at being the hero. Tyranny flips the script. Here, the bad guy's already won. You're an agent of Kairos, a godlike conqueror who has crushed every ounce of rebellion. But even in victory, the Empire's factions are tearing each other apart, and you're caught in the crossfire. The moral weight in Tyranny is brutal. Do you enforce the iron will of your overlord, or do you secretly aid the fractured remnants of resistance? Whatever you choose, the game's branching narrative ensures that every action leaves a scar on the world, and on you. Your choices reverberate, reshaping alliances and tipping the scales of power.
Got it.
Yharnam, a city of crumbling cathedrals, mad hunters, and eldritch nightmares lurking just beyond the veil of reality. Bloodborne is a love letter to cosmic horror wrapped in the brutal combat of From Software's signature style. You'll dodge, slash, and even parry your way through werewolves, insane villagers, and incomprehensible gods, unraveling a story that only gets darker the deeper you go. The dark fantasy? It's a gothic horror on steroids, where every alley hides something worse than death, and every revelation makes you wish you hadn't looked. Also, the fashion? Impeccable. Layered with mystery, each discovery feels like peeling back the scab of a festering wound. The Diablo series has always thrived on its dark, brooding aesthetic, and Diablo 4 takes that to a whole new level. Sanctuary is more grim than ever, with Lilith, the daughter of hatred, at the center of the chaos. Her return turns the world into a playground of demonic corruption, and as usual, it's up to you to carve through the hordes of enemies in search of loot and salvation. Why play it? The visuals are stunningly bleak, the gameplay is addictively brutal, and the atmosphere? Pure dark fantasy, dripping with gore and unrelenting dread. Plus, it's always fun to see how much gear your character can carry before looking ridiculous. And with Lilith, the stakes feel personal, as she manipulates the very essence of humanity. If you love the offbeat charm of retro graphics mixed with existential dread, Delusion should be on your radar. This open-world RPG takes you to a floating world plagued by a crumbling reality and ancient evils. The game feels like it stepped out of a forgotten PS1 fever dream, with weird NPCs, hauntingly beautiful environments, and a story that'll leave you questioning what's real. Why is it dark fantasy? It's not just the visuals or the haunting score. It's the sheer sense of dread that permeates every corner, as though the world itself is unraveling and you're just a spectator trying to make sense of the chaos. It's a unique take that rewards exploration and curiosity. Dungeon crawling is a staple of dark fantasy, and Legend of Grimrock captures the essence of claustrophobic exploration perfectly. Trapped in a mountain filled with traps, puzzles, and horrifying creatures, your party's only goal is to escape alive. The game blends old-school grid-based movement with modern graphics, offering a perfect mix of nostalgia and terror. Why does it belong here? Because every step feels like a gamble. You never know if you'll find treasure or trigger a trap that wipes your party. And when the lights flicker and the monsters come, that's dark fantasy at its finest. Each step forward feels like tempting fate. Arx Fatalis is a forgotten gem that laid the groundwork for many modern RPGs. Set in a world where the sun has failed, humanity and other races are forced to live underground. The game oozes dark fantasy vibes with its oppressive atmosphere, intricate magic system, you literally draw runes to cast spells, and morally complex choices. The beauty of Arx Fatalis lies in its immersion. From crafting to combat to uncovering the mysteries of a dying world, it's a masterclass in storytelling and atmosphere. Play it and you'll see why it's a cult classic. Every corner holds secrets waiting to be unearthed. Darkest Dungeon is a love letter to Lovecraftian horror, wrapped in the unforgiving systems of a tactical dungeon crawler. The game doesn't just throw monsters at you, it makes your heroes suffer, both physically and mentally. Stress, phobias, and paranoia are as deadly as any foe. What makes it truly dark fantasy? The oppressive atmosphere of despair. As you push deeper into the unknown, you're not just battling enemies, but also the unraveling psyches of your adventurers. Victory here comes at a cost. Few games embrace grim despair quite like Fear and Hunger. This indie RPG puts you in a cursed dungeon where survival isn't guaranteed. Every decision matters, and more often than not, they'll lead you to horrifying outcomes. Brutal difficulty, grotesque visuals, and a punishing atmosphere make it an unforgettable experience. Why is it worth playing? Because it captures the bleakness of a dark fantasy like no other, where every step forward feels like defying fate itself. Planescape's story is a masterpiece, a journey through a multiverse where death is only the beginning. As the Nameless One, you wake with no memory of your past lives, tasked with uncovering who you are and why you can't die. The philosophical themes of regret, identity, and redemption are deeply woven into its narrative. Dark fantasy thrives here because every character and location feels tinged with sorrow, from the decaying city of Sigil to the broken souls you encounter. It's less about saving the world and more about saving yourself, if you can. This indie gem feels like a forgotten relic of early 2000s gaming, with its low-poly visuals and haunting atmosphere. Lunacid immerses you in an underworld filled with monsters, secrets, and a foreboding sense of dread. Exploring its eerie environments is as unsettling as it is rewarding. Why play it? For the nostalgic feel of classic dungeon crawlers mixed with a modern sense of unease. It's a testament to how less can sometimes be so much more in crafting an unforgettable experience. Few games capture the epic and personal stakes of dark fantasy like Dragon Age Origins. As a Grey Warden, you're tasked with battling a blight threatening to consume the world. But it's the political intrigue, personal betrayals, and morally gray decisions that truly shine. What makes it dark fantasy? The constant reminders that good intentions don't guarantee good outcomes. You'll be forced to make decisions that haunt you and your companions long after the credits roll. Final Fantasy XVI reinvents itself by diving deep into mature themes of war, betrayal, and personal sacrifice. Set in a land ravaged by warring factions and cursed crystals, it's a far cry from the bright, hopeful tones of earlier entries. Here, the stakes feel heavier, the world harsher. Why does it belong on this list? Because it delivers a darker, grittier take on the series while maintaining the epic scale fans love. And those icon battles? Pure spectacle with a tinge of tragedy. Based on the iconic manga, this game lets you step into the shoes of Guts as he battles through the brutal, unforgiving world of Berserk. Apostles, demons, and human corruption make every battle feel personal and brutal. It doesn't shy away from the darkness that defines the series. What makes it stand out? Few games embrace hopelessness as fully as Berserk and the Band of the Hawk. It's a visceral journey into a world where the light barely exists. The Warhammer universe is dark fantasy at its grandest, and Total War, Warhammer 3, brings its apocalyptic battles to life. Lead legions of chaos, undead, or worse, in sprawling campaigns filled with treachery and destruction. Why play it? The scale is unmatched, and the sense of commanding eldritch horrors is as thrilling as it is terrifying. This cult classic blends a high fantasy setting with darker undertones of sacrifice and loss. The world feels alive, yet ominously doomed, and the combat against towering monsters is nothing short of exhilarating. Why is it unforgettable? Because it captures the thrill and weight of being a hero in a world where the line between good and evil blurs at every turn. Did you really think we wouldn't include this? Elden Ring isn't just a game, it's a phenomenon. From Software's sprawling masterpiece takes everything the studio excels at and places it in an open world brimming with secrets, danger, and despair. Why is it the ultimate dark fantasy experience? The lands between are as beautiful as they are deadly. With lore crafted by George R.R. Martin, it's a world of fallen gods and shattered dreams. Every victory feels earned, and every defeat feels monumental. That's our list of the 20 best dark fantasy games, each one a journey into despair, danger, and unforgettable storytelling. Ready to dive in? You'll find links to all these games in the description. Let us know your favorite dark fantasy game. And until next time, embrace the shadows.